Hi, this is Eric Martin with Board Game Geek. I'm here with Christopher Bedell from Greater Than Games, and we'll be talking about Sentinel Comics, the role-playing game, and Chris is going to educate me on role-playing games in general, because I know nothing about them.
Well, that's perfect.
And what you're doing in particular.
Yeah, no, so we've been working on this game for a couple of years, and we're in fact not even putting it out for another full year plus, because we're going to be Kickstartering it over Gen Con 2017.
Okay.
But in that time, I've done a lot of playtests in a lot of different places at conventions and local game stores and things like that. And one of my favorite groups of people to play this game with are people who've never played an RPG before.
Okay.
Some of my favorite groups of people to play with are people who have never played an RPG and who have never heard of Sentinels: The Multiverse. And they're like, I don't know anything about these characters, and I've never played an RPG. I'm like, great.
Okay.
We're going to take good care of you.
You need that feedback from
it's so helpful.
Those people.
And those people seem to have always been really into it. This is a great game for newer RPG gamers and people who are more necessarily into the story than they are the necessarily extremely crunchy mechanics, and yet it's got a lot of depth and breadth. I played it with very experienced RPG players and very experienced Sentinels fans as well, and it has been a consistent hit across the board.
Okay.
So.
I don't know if you give an overview of what
Yeah,
we're doing.
certainly. So,
as a superhero game, we must have characters.
Yes, you've got superheroes, and so like I've got a couple of heroes here in front of us, and a hero for now. We'll just put this one out here.
Okay. Move it up a little.
Yeah, perfect. So we're looking at here. We've got a hero character sheet for the hero legacy, and the character sheet's got a lot of information going on in it. But this is all kind of the things that make up who your character is. So you've got some like stats here that tell you, his name and his look and things like that. But then we've got all the different things that make up a character. A hero's principles, their powers and qualities, their stress ranges and stresses changing to health, because like I said, this game's coming out over a year from now, we still have lots of little changes here and there. And then your abilities.
That's right. There's normally, we'd like to have a disclaimer across the bottom that's like, components may change prior to publication.
Oh man, so much is going to change.
It's just an overview.
Right, well, like the look of
Legacy's
Legacy's costume is going to change between now and then. Like there's so many things that are changing, but this game works, and I'm playing it all the time to make sure that we're on the good right track.
Right.
The core mechanic of how this game works is it is a dice pool game. So whenever you do anything, you describe your action, you pick a power and a quality and your status dice, and you roll those 3 dice and you take the median.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is, so Legacy is like, hey, I'm a team leader, I'm very strong, I've got my team behind me, and what I'm interested in doing, there's a steel door in front of us, and I'm going to fly forward, I'm going to grab that steel door, I'm going to tear it off its hinges, and then lead the charge into the bad guy's fort.
Seems reasonable.
Right, so I'm going to grab, so I have to pick a power, so I'm going to grab strength, because I'm going to grab that steel door, and it says the die type for strength is 10, so we grab a D10 for the power. My quality, I'm going to do leadership, because I am leading the charge, so again, my dice has a 10 on that.
Okay.
And we're at the beginning of the fight, my stress is still, or my health is still in the green zone, and so I take my green status die, which is a D6. Those are my dice. I roll the 3 dice. I got a 4, a 2, and a 4, so a 4 is my median, and that 4 is going to be the result that I work with on that. And that is how you do any if you're fighting somebody, you say, well, I'm going to use, strength and brawling in my status die, and you roll that, and you take your median is how much damage you deal.
Oh, that's not so good.
Not so, well, I've got a 10.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Reading that as a 0.
Yeah, so on 10-sided dice, the 0 is a 10. So I got a 10, a 1, but a 7, so my median's a 7, I'll take that.
Okay.
And so any action you do is going to be building that pool. But then, so that's like the core mechanic. Beyond that, every character has abilities. So when I'm in the green zone, because my health is doing well, I have access to my green abilities. But then as I move into the yellow zone, as things get a little bit scarier, I get my green
adrenaline
and
flowing.
yellow. Well, it's that idea of like, you don't want to have the situation in which you walk into, like you think of an action movie, the guy doesn't walk into the fight and immediately pull out the best weapon ever. You save that to like the 2/3 point of the movie, right?
Yes.
If you can,
like, why didn't you use that in the first place?
well, they even address this in the Avengers movie when Iron Man does the laser beams thing, and his teammate says, why don't you open with that next time? You can't always open with that. You got to build to it.
That's right.
And so as you move through, and once you're in the red zone, you have your best abilities, but you're also in the most danger. So you've kind of got to work through that as you go there. And it's not just necessarily your health that is going to change. And health isn't just like hit points. It's your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. Because certain villains aren't going to punch you a lot, but they're going to make you like they have psychic attacks or things like that.
Okay.
And then everything has those ranges. Everything from the heroes have the green, yellow, red range. Environments have those ranges. Villains have those ranges.
Right.
And the environment dictates the scene that is going on. So if you and I are hanging out here at this convention and there's people all around and everybody's having a nice time, this environment is in the green zone. And as a result, everybody within it acts like they're in the green zone. But then if there was some shouting over there and maybe a fire and the ceiling started caving in over here.
Kids, exclusives got out of hand.
Right, something big. That could push us into the yellow zone, and characters in that scene would act as if they were in the yellow zone.
Okay.
So they'd get access to their yellow abilities even if their health wasn't necessarily low enough. And then there's an explosion and the roof starts caving in on us and everything's collapsing and people are running and screaming and dying. Okay, we're in the red zone. And so that is how like the whole scene is going to work together to push things forward. So, And then there's a lot of different things
as well. With the heroes trying to take it down a notch, I assume. In terms of
the heroes are going to want to try to
situation.
Exactly. The heroes are going to try to protect the environments, but not just to defeat the villain, but also protect any innocent people that are around.
Right.
And you're just with any storytelling. This is a cooperative storytelling sort of game, in that the players are going to be invoking their principles and invoking costs to do actions in order to help push that story along.
Okay. How does is this your first RPG that you're publishing?
It is. It is the first published RPG from Greater Than Games. It is not the first published RPG from the design team, because the design team is Cam Banks, Dave Chalker, and Philippe Menard, and all three of them have a lot of RPG chops. And they came to me 2-ish years ago and said, "Hey, we would love to make a Sentinel Comics, Sentinels the Multiverse role-playing game." And I was like, "I would like that too. Let's talk more." And we've been talking a lot since then. And like this is going to be great because this comes out after the end of the Sentinels the Multiverse card game. Sentinels the Multiverse card game is done and finished, and we're still printing it, but we're not adding to it anymore. Right. And this is going to kind of pick up that story and run with it. So
how does the playtesting differ between role-playing game and
a lot
board game?
So with the card game, I mean, I can sit down and do a lot of initial playtesting myself because I can do it's just running numbers. I put cards in front of me. I'm like, do these things work? Are these things overpowered? And then when I start playing with people, a lot of what I do with playing with people is checking that numbers and figures work, but also checking that the feel is correct. Right. And an RPG is way more feel. it's so much like creating that feel at the table and making sure everybody is engaged and making sure everybody is adding to this story. And that's one of the reasons I really love the die pool system, because whenever you do a thing, you pick a power and a quality. And so that, like right there, if you're not very good at describing an action,
what you're doing from the nature of what's here.
One of my favorite bits of feedback that I've ever heard about the Sentinels the Multiverse card game is that when you play the game, you don't feel like you're controlling a hero, you feel like you are that hero. And that is important to me in the RPG as well, is that when you're playing the game, you're like, no, I am Legacy, I am the leader. And that I've been getting that feedback already from some of our early playtesting, and that makes me really happy.
Okay. And that's going to drive you for the next year.
Yes. I got a lot to do.
But it's not a year till publication. It's a year till...
It is a year and a month until we launch the Kickstarter for it. What we're going to do... So this is an official news scoop right here. I've never said this publicly before. Our secret dastardly plan is at Gen Con next year, we'll be launching the Kickstarter right before Gen Con, and then at Gen Con, we will have a starter kit that you can buy for like $20. Don't quote me on that price. That will have a few characters and like a quick brief overview of the rules and a few scenarios you can play. And so people at Gen Con can pick up the game and play the game and buy the game, and we're also going to have it at retailers and distributors at that point as well. So people all over the place will be able to get the game and be like, okay, this is cool, but this is just like a slice of it. Like, yes, well, there's the core rulebook and character compendium and all those things on my Kickstarter right now. So
Fantasy Flight did the same thing with their Star Wars games as they were rolling out.
The Star Wars games seem like they're doing okay.
They're mild,
yeah. I mean, they've got that Star Wars license, which I hear is fun. People like it, I guess. Yeah, right.
Yeah. But it is definitely a way to introduce people. Right. Probably lower cost intro. You get a taste, and of course, for something like this, it helps to have people talk about it and spread it before it's even out there.
Absolutely. Yeah. The thing, especially for when there's people that are going to be fans of Sentinels, but not sure if they're into RPGs, and we say, hey, look, here's this game. Right. Just try it, and that'll help them know. Because there's going to be people that it's not for, and that's fine. But I don't want them to necessarily have to go full and invest and then go, oh, shoot, that's not for me. There's going to be other people that it's definitely for.
Okay. So. All right.
great. Character creation is
How do you generate characters?
So yeah, there's a question from the chat. How do you generate characters? Character creation is a thing that's super important to me because I've played a lot of RPGs. RPGs are actually what I played way before board games, and Sentinels of the Multiverse, the card game, came out of my love for RPGs, but also I wanted a card game that felt like that. So the game's going to come with a bunch of like, okay, you've got Legacy, and you've got characters that you recognize from, you've got Bunker, and you've got the Wraith, and you've got Tachyon, and characters that you recognize from the card game, and those are all going to be in there. But then also there's going to be a big section all about making your own heroes, so you can play your own heroes in the world of Sentinels, and you can make your own villains, you can make your own environments. It's all the information is going to be there, and the character creation process is really fun because you can do it either randomly or deterministically. That you can go through and you're like, I'm going to pick these powers, and I'm going to pick this archetype, and I'm going to pick this power source, and I'm going to build my character because I know the story that I want to tell here. Or you can be like, I'm not sure what kind of character I want to make, so I'm going to go into these charts and I'm going to roll some dice, and it gives me, because of the dice that I rolled, it gives me like 3 different options to pick from. So instead of the list of 20 archetypes, I've narrowed it down to 3, and that's a much easier choice when you don't necessarily have a specific idea you're going towards.
But then you get something to grab onto,
right?
And build that character around.
And I've been working through it, and I had somebody say, okay, so I'm really happy with this, but like my 4th choice when I rolled the dice, the ones there didn't fit with anything on the previous list. I'm like, well, just pick something. You can always just pick something.
That's right.
Or
you can be a complicated individual.
Oh, right. That's fine too.
Secretly, you're conflicted.
Yeah.
In many different ways.
Right. Well, that's the thing too. Yeah. If you're like, hey, this doesn't fit with any of the other things. Well, sometimes you've got a power that's like, this is at odds with my very being. That's
right.
Superhero 101 right there. So maybe 102. It's a master class.
That's right. But you have to overcome those. Yes, if you don't have that weakness.
Right. And so character creation is a lot of fun. It creates your principles. It is a lot of decision making on the player's point, but also a lot of helpful hand holding going through the making a solid character. And we're still as with everything in this game, we're still finalizing how all that's going to work. But what we have right now is it's really exciting.
Okay. All right, thanks very much. Any other questions?
Any other questions today?
No,
we're good.
Awesome. Very good. Thanks very much for the overview, Chris.
My pleasure.
Good luck in the next year.
Thank you.
Okay.